gunslinging outlaws, land rushes, railroads, Native Americans, the Civil War, cowboys and cowgirls, race riots, Wild West shows, tornadoes, historic Route 66. The state of Oklahoma has a rich and colorful past, both wonderful and tragic, that has helped propel it forward as a hotbed of paranormal activity. Hi, I'm Mike Ricksecker, author of Ghosts and Legends of Oklahoma, and this is the first episode in a series that will walk down the dusty roads of the Sooner State's paranormal past. Along with experts in the paranormal field, we'll be exploring scores of locations loaded with history and ghost stories. This pilot show will serve as a preview of what we'll be encountering within the pages of Ghosts and Legends of Oklahoma. And as a continuing series, new locations and spiritual interactions will continue to be uncovered. Before we get too far into this, I'd like to introduce you to some very important people that have helped me along with this project. Now, we're going to be doing a full-fledged paranormal show in the future, which is going to be very different than this, but they've really helped me along with this project that I started way back in 2009. So, starting with Taylor here, we can go down the row and just introduce yourself and let everybody know what your expertise is.
Okay, my name's Taylor Nance. I'm the tech specialist for this team. I set up the equipment, the DVR, I run audio, take pictures, make sure everybody does their job with their equipment wise.
Logan?
And I'm Logan. Basically, my role in the group as the parapsychologist is basically to examine everything that has happened and utilize methods, scientific methods through parapsychology to determine if in fact it is a paranormal event and possibly explain why it is or isn't.
And I'm Kathy Nance. I am the case manager, and my role is to speak with clients and to ascertain if they have a legitimate haunting going on or if they're crazy. And if they do, I schedule us out.
Chris?
And I'm Chris Borthwick. I'm the occult specialist for the team. I basically do all the research with all things metaphysical in regards to cases.
And I'm Mike Ricksecker, researcher and Ghostorian.
So what exactly is a Ghostorian?
A Ghostorian is one who investigates the history and origins of spirit and the place in which it haunts. What's your favorite historic Oklahoma haunt to date?
My favorite historical Oklahoma haunt is probably Johnny V's in Muskogee.
Johnny V's restaurant.
It's a restaurant that has a long history of being all sorts of different things, including a funeral home, crematorium, restaurant, and a firehouse, I believe.
And what happened to you there?
I was sitting at the bar with Chris, and we were looking at a receipt, and then all of a sudden I felt a sharp pain in my lower back, and then the wine glasses on the top of the bar started shaking, and then I heard footsteps going into the back of the bar.
I think overall my favorite historical haunt would be a combination. It'd actually be the city of Guthrie.
Guthrie, for sure.
And that's simply because it is a very old spot. I've investigated several locations throughout the entire city, and it is really active as far as hauntings go.
There's something magical about the place.
It has a lot of history and it's got a lot of activity, and I think a lot of the paranormal in that sense really holds and captivates a lot of that history with it.
Many buildings, one right after the other, haunted. Bluebell Saloon being one of them, and it's rich in history, you know, not just paranormal activity, but the historical side of it.
So you have the stories, you have the locations, and now you have the hauntings coming in to kind of play a part in it. And I think that it's probably been my favorite as far as Oklahoma goes.
Tell me what investigating the paranormal in Oklahoma means to you.
Investigating the paranormal is just a way to kind of explore what's out there, the unknown for me. Kind of finding answers to questions and getting more questions.
Well, Oklahoma, you know, as a whole has a lot of history, Native American and so forth. And I think, to me, investigating in Oklahoma plays a big part in that. And it's exciting. There's places all throughout the state that have activity, and there's relevance tied in with each one of those places that is in relation to Oklahoma.
Investigating in Oklahoma, it is an outlet for me to be able to, I don't know, maybe go deeper into spirituality, I suppose, you know, verify everything that I already believe in. I feel lucky to be able to go around within Oklahoma and investigate, because it's just validation, I suppose, for what I've already learned. And
so it's more of a
right.
at a personal level for you.
Right, it's a personal level.
I think, to me, it's an adventure. It's exciting, and it's real important to me to learn a lot about that, because it ties in again with the history of Oklahoma. And I think I've investigated here more than any state in the United States.
Road trips. Okay, tell me about a favorite or crazy investigation road trip.
Probably my favorite road trip is one to southeast Oklahoma.
The actual driving in the car would have to be going to Caddo.
And I was driving, and we were all in my Grand Prix, and we got lost. We got lost because I stopped for directions, and I literally got well, you go this way and turn that way as the crow flies. Literally, as the crow flies.
We saw a llama or an alpaca that was hairless or something, and he kind of looked like this creature from who knows where.
I think we saw some sort of ostrich-like things, some llamas. Somebody said they saw the Loch Ness Monster, but, you know, a large black dog.
We had birds dive bombing and dogs and all kinds of things.
The homeowner gave us directions, and they said, well, you know, once you pass the divot in the roads.
It was when we were lost, and I contacted the homeowner, and I know you got video of me laughing. I was trying really hard to maintain, you know, being serious on the phone with him, but he's telling me, oh, you're going to come to a divot, and yet we're about 2 hours away from his house. And there are many divots in the road on the way to his house, so which particular divot is he talking about? You know, he didn't give me a particular spot in the road where the divot was going to be for me to be aware that I'm now at the location where I need to turn.
It took us forever to get there.
It's a Chevy Astro van. Check this out. Got all kinds of room in the back here to pile in all the equipment. Open it up. It seats 7 pretty comfortably. We can squeeze 8 in there if we have to. Oh, check this out. We've got 15s on this baby. Oh, wait, wrong show.
My craziest investigation, going to an investigation, would have to be, we were going to Sentinel, we were going to a cemetery, and one of our teammates was driving, and all of a sudden he slammed on the brakes because he said he saw a dog in the middle of the road, and I was sitting in the back seat, and my face went slamming into the front seat. The person sitting in front of me slammed under the dashboard, and so on with the person sitting next to me.
Road trip. Well, we've had several, and all of them have been very exciting. The one that stands out, probably because it's so reoccurring, is the trip to Muskogee.
Muskogee's always fun, and the Lenny, he's always fun.
We always tend to pinpoint certain places with certain people that we experience. For example, there's a McDonald's over there that we had went through late one night, and we were tired. We had just done investigating the Masonic Temple, and we were tired and hungry, and it's probably 3 or 4 in the morning, and we pull in and we pull in the drive-through, and we have all these orders, and then we get up, and there's like this empty window, and it's open, and we're like, okay, and we're waiting, and this very goofy looking confused man rises up from the counter, just perfectly aligned. He didn't like bend up. He raised up straight and stood there and stared at us. We're like, what the hell? And this guy's like, what? And I'm going, oh, and I made a few more comments and things like that. We were worried about our food being tainted and order being wrong, and I made a few more comments other than that. So we have that landmark, so to speak, when we go through. Lenny is actually what we called him. We deemed that Lenny's McDonald's.
And Lenny is like the standard word now for all drive-thrus.
We know every time we go through and Lenny's there, we're going to have some god-awful experience we're going to talk about for the next 6 months. And, you know, maybe we'll meet Lenny's sister or, you know, whoever.
Make me hungry and tell me about the food along the way.
Oh, the food. Well, let's see. Well, there is Mears, which is our favorite stop, the big burger spot.
I love going to Mears.
We got the Mears restaurant.
Hot spots to go to is Mears, Oklahoma, because of the pie burger they give you, which is like as big as a pie pan.
You know, the burger is like a 7-inch burger, and they have homemade vanilla ice cream with homemade peach cobbler, and it's amazing. And every time we go, it's like, you know, focusing and shoveling it in there.
Johnny V's, the restaurant itself, when it was in existence, had some of the best food I've ever had. I had a steak that was literally, you know, this big. It was fantastic.
We've got the Copelands, you know, we've got the Gino's Italian, which we used to go to a place called Napoli's, and they shut down, so we've relocated over in Italian, over in Muskogee. But really good food, really good. A lot of memories.
Well, being a chef, I really enjoy food of all
Yes,
kinds.
this is our new chef.
Yes.
Resident chef.
Yes. I love food, and I really like finding the out-of-the-way locations that there's something kooky about them, and where people have discussed online, you know, that they've eaten there and that they recommended, and, you know, if Food and Wine has written them up, I want to eat there.
The Civil War. While most people remember the famous battles of the East, the war between the states reached out to Oklahoma as well, long before it was a state. In the next episode of Ghosts and Legends of Oklahoma, we'll examine Fort Washita, Fort Gibson, and the Honey Springs battlefield, where thousands shed their blood on the territory soil.
A lot of the forts and things have a lot of residual activity from the time when it was active, because, you know, you had all of the emotions and the fights and the battles, and a lot of that they believe was actually contained within the area and within the fort.
Honey Springs is pretty big. It's a big open battlefield.
It just seemed like it was unusually quiet, like a reverent place. So, you know, I think that kind of speaks to the fact there's been a lot of death there.
They say, you know, when you go at night, you can hear and see things.
The Texas Road is there, and there's lots of history surrounding that.
Now, Fort Washita is a different story. Actually, I would say, if I was to, just based upon me and my own opinion, I would say it was probably the most active fort, haunting-wise, in Oklahoma.
Sometimes we get so caught up in where we're going, we forget where we've been. Bits of our history get lost to time. Pieces that remain become legend and lore. Are these lingering spirits just trying to tell us the true story of their past? Till next time.